Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for accept this invitation with Wincom Technologies and Ubiquiti. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about the success with Ubiquiti Fiber and Wave. This is an exclusive webinar designed for our English-speaking Caribbean region. So we are gonna be here with Jordan Goff, the product manager of USP Fiber from Ubiquiti. So thank you, Jordan, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Before of that, I want to share a little bit of Wincom Technologies. Maybe some of you don't know who we are. We are a worldwide distributor and provider of complete networking solutions, included wireless, wire, fiber. So our unmatched expertise in broadband wireless networking products, along with a comprehensive range of network infrastructure, makes us a leader of these industry manufacturers. We have a global presence through all the Caribbean and Latin American regions. So we have our local presence in Miami, Florida, in Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, and of course, our headquarters are in Ohio, USA. So we have covered all the region. Our team speak English, Spanish, so we have you fully covered. So feel free to ask your questions or contact our team for quotes, requests, and more. So thank you again, Jordan, for joining us. Let's talk about this Ubiquiti Fiber, what you have, and what we are gonna see this webinar today. So thank you so much, Jordan.
Great. Thank you. Yes, thanks for having me today. I'm excited to share our fiber solutions with you and show how they can fit in your deployments in a lot of different ways. And for those already using our GPON products, I'll show you the latest updates. So just a short intro, I'm the fiber product manager at Ubiquiti and have some also real world deployment experience and how you guys deploy these in your environments to spread data to different locations. So let's dig in. I'll show you a few topics that we'll cover today. We'll do an intro and history of the product, an overview of our hardware and our software, and then I'll talk about some success stories of how our current customers are using UFiber to be successful. And we'll also talk about the future of fiber, some exciting products and software that we have coming up. And then I'll also talk about our Wave products, our 60 gigahertz and greatest fixed wireless solutions and how those can also pair with our fiber solutions. And then I'll leave a few minutes at the end for some questions. So I'll bring your attention to the slide deck here. This is our product line. We launched our GPON product over 7 years ago with the UF OLT and our UF Loco and UF Nano G. These have proven to be reliable, very simple to deploy, and price disruptive. So at a global level, we have operators with tens of thousands of subscribers, anything down to the size of something like an RV park, where our customers are using our GPON products to spread internet through a local RV park size deployment. This can also expand to some MDUs, and I'll show you a few slides later that show some other deployment scenarios. So we have a full lineup of products, including our latest XGS for 10 gig PON release, and that was released about 10 months ago and is taking off in different markets around the world. I want to spend a minute on this slide. I'm personally a visual learner, and I like to look at a full topology to really understand how these products work. So this slide shows an end-to-end deployment, everything from our free UISP software. So we have our UISP application that allows you to design, monitor, and manage all of your equipment. This also includes a CRM tool so that you can invoice your customers all right from this free tool. And then you can go down to your data center where you might have upstream circuits, DIAs, or internet exchanges where you lease or own public IPs with BGP peering. And you can use our Edge Router Infinity or a UISP Router Pro for the data center side of things to connect upstream. Then you'll have your middle mile fiber going down to something like a building, or it could be a tower, or it could be a cabinet on the side of the street. And in this topology, you might put a fiber OLT inside a 10-story building. And then using the passive splitters, you could put the OLT on the first floor and then put a passive, maybe 1x16 splitter on the third, fifth, and seventh floor of a 10-story building. Then if someone on the eighth floor signs up, you can run fiber from that customer to the closest splitter, which would be in the telco closet on the seventh floor. And again, that's all passive. And I'll talk about that in a second. But once you get in these areas, whether it's a tower or a rooftop, you can continue the topology to something like our UISP Switch Plus. This pairs well with our Wave products with the 2.5 gig ports that the Switch has, paired with the 2.5 gig PoE ports on the Wave AP. And then you can offer your last mile using our Wave CPEs, anything from a short range Wave Pico to a mid range Wave Nano, the Wave long range LR, to a long distance Wave Pro. And then once you get into that house, whether it's a residential or a business customer, you could use our Unify Express. This is one of our new cloud gateways that runs the Unify network app all built in with built-in Wi-Fi. And this allows you to provide a managed router using our Unify products. And then at a higher scale, you could use something like our Unify Dreamwall or Unify Dream Machine Pro, and then upsell your customer with cameras, access control, Wi-Fi extenders, or other Wi-Fi access points with switches distributed around their facility. And then we'll go down here to this Wave Pro link. In our latest Wave firmware, we enabled point-to-point mode so that you can connect a Wave Pro to another Wave Pro. This is a very directional link with line of sight required, but this offers really high throughput with really low latency. I've seen a lot of customers in different regions where they might need to cross railroad tracks, so they need permitting to get fiber from one place to another, or simply the time that it takes to get that fiber in the ground for your middle mile. So we've seen customers use Wave Pro as the backhaul link to then spin up another area with our fiber products. So they might put this UFOLT4 in a cabinet on the side of the street, and then they would connect a Wave Pro back to another central location. Then they would run their last mile fiber, whether if it's in an MDU or a residential neighborhood, to different units. So this gives an end-to-end topology of how you might deploy this equipment. But at a simple level, if we take a step back, the goal is to pass traffic from one point to another. So I've seen customers use our products um, to put, like on a farm example, if there's a 100-acre farm, they might put a passive splitter on a fence post in the middle of the farm. And that's just a topology example to show you that it doesn't require power. And that's the meaning of the passive optical network, where you could put a splitter on a fence post and branch off to multiple different houses. And this could be distributed to homes, to the curb, to different businesses, or to different devices in a stadium or something like that. So we've also seen this deployed in a hotel environment where each hotel room gets a U-Fiber ONU or ONT, and it distributes that signal and data throughout the hospitality environment. Next, I want to talk about our software tools. We have a new planning tool in our ISP Design Center. That's at ispdesign.ui.com. And as of yesterday, we just released a few more updates to the fiber design where you can have different paths, different colors, depending on different PON ports. It really helps you visualize your network. And this, if you spend an hour on this tool in a specific area that you might think you can target, I think it really builds the confidence of showing what materials you need, how to deploy your network, making sure you have the right signal level and the right splitter combination deployed around this area. So this is much more than a calculator. It's a design tool where you're able to see the signal level and figure out how your topology is going to work. So as you design it on the map, there's also another area where you can view the topology. see which OLT, which port, which splitter it's going to, and then which ONUs are connected in a topology view like this. Another useful tool is to see a device list. So this will build you a bill of materials that you can send WinCom to place an order, everything from the ONUs, OLTs, and the splitters. And then we have a profitability calculator. This is also was existent in our ISP design center for our wireless devices too, where you can use different plans, estimate the price per month, how many subscribers you might have, and see what cost and income you can project for a new area. So outside of our design tools, I want to talk about our UISP application, which includes our CRM tool. This can be both cloud hosted or self-hosted on site on a local server that you provide. It's completely license free, and we have a device manager. So the device manager allows you to change VLANs on switches, on OLTs, on ONUs, and you can also manage the firmware for each device. So if an update's available, you can schedule a maintenance window and have those automatically upgrade. And one of my favorite features is simple, but it's automatic backups. So in the event you might have a home router customer fail that is adopted into UISP, one of our edge routers possibly, if this fails or if the customer factory resets the device unexpectedly, you have a backup history in UISP. You can download that backup, upload it to a new device, and then go deploy that device. And that's also true for switches and all of our fixed wireless gear. Those automatic backups can save a lot of time. This also provides historical statistics for fixed wireless links and fiber links, so that if you see a degradation in the signal, you know when that issue started, and you can help isolate and troubleshoot how to resolve that issue and when and where that started to occur. As an operator, you likely have installers in the field. So as your installers use our UISP mobile apps for iOS and Android, they can go deploy this equipment, our fixed wireless equipment and our ONUs. They simply plug it up, they open up their UISP app, and they can make VLAN adjustments, settings adjustments, check signal level, and provision that device right there on site using their app. The full-featured CRM with billing allows for recurring invoicing, automatic payments, and it also has a client portal where your customers can log in, they can pay their bill online, they can submit a support ticket. You can have different scheduling for technicians to be dispatched to do these different tickets. I'm not aware of any other vendor in the industry who has provided something like this at no cost. So we really want you to be able to focus on getting fiber in the ground, getting your network built out, expanding your network, and providing this tool for you for free. Only other thing I'll mention here is we do have an API integration. So you have all the core functionality here, but if you need to expand that, our API is available for UISP. I want to show you a few screenshots of monitoring inside UISP. You can see an OLT with connected ONTs or ONUs. This little alarm icon here shows that this vFiber Nano G is down due to a power outage rather than a loss of signal. That's important when you see outages in your network to know if it's power related or something else that you can address differently. And this is a quick view of the statistics and the historical statistics for signal level and throughput for each device. For our fiber products, we do keep them very simple and easy to deploy. However, you can see these statistics here, version, temperature, throughput, different routing modes. You can have an ONU and bridge or router mode. You can set speed limits through UISP. So when you sign up a subscriber and assign an ONU to that subscriber, it will automatically know what rate limit to put there based on the service level that you assigned for them in the CRM side. If you're not using the CRM side, that's no problem. You can easily click here to enter any value here to limit their throughput. And then you can choose to use this in bridge mode, where you might connect one of our Unify routers or any third-party router, or the ONU can be used in router mode as well. UISP is very user-friendly, and a very high percentage of our customers use that. But it is important to know that there is a local user interface for the OLT, and everything is fully managed in a local user interface. Again, very clean and simple to use. This is the dashboard showing all the analytics. This next slide shows all the connected ONUs, show the port status, the throughput, signal level, experience score, and uptime. There's a few more columns that you can populate here to troubleshoot your network and provision new ONUs as they're connected. We're heavily invested in our development of these products, both on the software and the hardware side. This week, we released our 4.8.0 firmware for our fiber products, and this introduced MAC address limiting, so that if you have multiple devices connected to a switch on a bridged ONU, that if your customer plugs it up the wrong way, they won't pull more IPs. It'll lock it to a specific count of IP addresses. Or if you're using managed routers and you don't want them to connect any other MAC ID, you can have an allow or deny list for static MAC address filtering. We have a lot of stability improvements, a lot of continuous improvements that we've also added in 4.8.0, and we have planned for future releases. Now I want to show you our hardware lineup. Our XGS products I'll touch on briefly. This is our 8-port 10 gig OLT with our 10 gig PON modules and our coexistence filter. I'll show a few more slides about how this coexistence filter works to combine both GPON and XGS PON. And then we have our ONUs, both 10 gig and a 2.5 gig uplink and 10 gig downlink ONU. These are our GPON products that have been out for multiple years. We have our UF OLT. These are priced in USD, $17.99, our 4-port for $11.89. And then we have our UF Wi-Fi 6 with MSRP of $99, our UF Loco. This is our most common low-cost way to distribute a network using GPON. We have our UF Nano, which is very similar to the Loco, but with a screen. And then we have our UF Wi-Fi, which has 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi and multiple ports. Our UF Instant, this is an SFP ONU that can be plugged into something like an SFP port on our Unified Dream Machine Pro. And that way you don't have to have a separate ONU hardware device that's powered outside of this SFP module. Briefly, I want to show you that our coexistence module, you can use this to combine multiple ports on a 10 gig OLT downstream to one splitter that has both GPON and XGS PON ONUs. Very simple. It can be plugged into one port GPON receiver, combined into the WDM filter, and one port from an XG PON into these ports, and then downstream to one splitter, multiple ONUs of different types. There's quite a few different ways to deploy fiber. If you're putting it on the outside of the home or inside of the home, I see a big split, maybe 50%. If it's not in an MDU type scenario where it's always inside, then I want to show you two different ways to deploy this. You can deploy fiber through the neighborhood up to the house and then put a NID box and then run an armored fiber cable from the NID box. This way you have access to troubleshoot on the outside of the home, the signal level. And then you can go inside the home to a faceplate and then have a jumper going to an ONU. This allows you to put the ONU inside the house. You can use a PoE injector to power and get data from the ONU, and then go from the LAN port to something like our Unified Dream Machine or any third-party router or Unify devices. Second option would be to mount the ONU outside the home in something like our UF terminal box. And that would house the ONU outside, and then you would simply run Ethernet, much like you would for a fixed wireless deployment, into the home to the PoE injector, and then up to a Unify device. So with our support, we have design assistants with the tools that I showed. We have our community and distributors like Wincom who support us. We have community involvement from our internal teams and more. We also have a long-term support plan where including development resources, stocking availability, feature additions, and some next generation hardware that I'll show you in a moment. A few success stories, mainly in the US here. We have Planet Networks, who has over 10,000 subscribers, 50,000 passings, 175 employees, and thousands of fiber miles. And they are built on 100% Ubiquiti fiber. So from the beginning, they deployed our fiber. They found it to be reliable, have an exceptional ROI, and simple to deploy, and it met their needs and didn't have any features missing that prevented them from having a successful network. We have one of our customers deploying hundreds of our XGS subscribers, and they moved from existing vendors to our solution for stability and simplicity. And not only did they start moving to us for their new customers, they also forklifted the previous vendors to because of the simplicity and stability and having everything on one ecosystem. Another successful story in Texas, Brazos Wi-Fi or NetFast Fiber. They have thousands of subscribers. They are a heavy UISP CRM users, and they manage their entire customer base with our CRM tool, and they're also 100% Ubiquiti Fiber. So to recap here, we have a scalable solution with our fiber products, the right cost and the simplicity. They're all we're a US-based company and take security very highly and make sure that our products are designed to be easy to use, easy to deploy, reliable, and secure. We give you a quick ROI, design tools, and it's full-featured and license-free. That wraps up the fiber side of the presentation. Next, I want to talk to you about our Wave products, our latest 60 gigahertz devices with built-in 5 gigahertz failover. This is next level price for performance, extremely low interference, and we have active development on our teams with a release that just came out 2 weeks ago, ongoing enhancements and improvements. We have the design tools in our ISP Design Center. It is a great solution for short to mid-range with high throughput. And by short to mid-range, I mean about 3 to 4 miles from an access point. And I do have customers using the Wave Pro at longer distances and point-to-point range. Our hardware lineup here has our Wave AP. It's a 30-degree antenna with a 2.5 gig PoE port and an SFP plus port. And then our Wave Micro has a 90-degree integrated antenna with a 2.5 gig PoE plus port. And the CPEs I showed in the topology as well, all of these have our built-in 5 gigahertz failover. That's Wi-Fi 6. And in our latest firmware release, we even increased the stability on that backup link even more. And this, compared to licensed links, makes it a very feasible way to quickly deploy your network and expand your network. And that extremely low interference allows you to have multiple Wave APs on a tower. And our latest firmware release adds GPS sync that also helps with this, and some other tools to mitigate rain fade, which is a common question with 60 gigahertz. 60 gigahertz can be affected by rain, and that's why we have the built-in 5 gigahertz failover. End users would never really notice the change except for maybe a few seconds or minutes out of the year where it would drop to the 5 gigahertz failover, and that's a very seamless transition. You could be on a VoIP call and never know that the link switched between 60 and 5 gigahertz. Our latest release that came out a couple weeks ago is 3.3.1, and it includes stability improvements for their client count, backup frequency, and distance. And we added a configurable failover threshold so that you can choose more manually when the link switches from 60 to 5 gigahertz. That's some mobile UI improvements for provisioning these radios and monitoring and aligning them, and many other improvements and fixes. A few things that are going on new at Ubiquiti in general. We have some exciting additions to the ISP fiber, fixed wireless, routing and switching hardware, our Wave hardware and software features that I mentioned. We also have our Unify with an operator focus. So our site manager for Unify has been expanded for global admin access. We can have a global administrator with multiple admin users and an increase in permission granularity for that. And then this allows operators to deploy our unified devices as managed routers to your customers. These two new devices, the Unify Express has built-in Wi-Fi 6, runs the Unify Network app all on this one device. The Unify Cloud Gateway Ultra also runs the Unify Network app. It does not have built-in Wi-Fi, that's the main difference, but it does have multiple ports. This would be for a scenario where typically you need to mount the access point separate from the router. Also want to show you this new OLT that we're working on. This is an extremely low cost combo PON OLT, meaning that a single PON port can give you both XGS or GPON ONUs. So you have a simple SFP plus uplink management port console, and this allows you to have very distributed deployments. If you need to go into an MDU for extremely low cost, add 15 to 30, up to 60 or more ONUs in one location, this allows you to have the ROI to make that deployment make sense. And that will ship this year. It also has a DC 24-volt DC power input. So want to open it up to some questions, see if there's any questions, and then we will go from there.
Okay, thank you, Jordan. I don't know if we have some questions. Let's see. Okay, apparently we don't have any questions for now. I just want to remember that you can follow us on our social media. You can find us as scalable on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, and our YouTube channel where you can find this webinar recording. Also, I want to share with you the email where you can contact us is sales.cala@wincom.com. I will put here on the chat so you can contact us. You can quote, request, contact our team. We can speak English, Spanish, so we got you fully covered. I think that we don't have questions, Jordan. So thank you so much for this presentation, for this general overview regarding this Ubiquiti Fiber. I hope that we can have more webinars and more content with Ubiquiti, of course. So thank you so much, Jordan, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So let's see us on the next webinar with Wincom Technologies. Remember to follow us and share our content. And let's see us on the next time. Thank you so much. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you, Jordan. Goodbye.
Thank you.